and thank you for coming to tonight's meeting. Today is July 12th, and we are at the City Hall Chambers in the city of Clearlake. Thank you for being here. Madam Clerk, if you could please do a roll call.
Councilmember Overton.
Here.
Councilmember Kramer.
Here.
Councilmember Bennett.
Here.
Vice Mayor Harris.
Here.
And Mayor Sabatier.
Here. Vice Mayor Harris, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Mr. Gravison, if you'd like to come up to the podium, please. Thank you so much.
Our holy God, we come to you humbly this evening, asking you to give the city council and all those members of the city employee, Father, give them your wisdom this evening as they are doing the business of the city. Guide them in their direction. Lord, let them always seek the best for the city and to glorify you in everything they do, Lord. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. And we are going to ask Mr. Folsom if there are any changes to the agenda today.
Well, slight modification. I don't see Lisa Kaplan in the audience, who is our presenter for the item number 1 today. So what I'd like to do is just maybe continue on and go forward with business and then slip that in somewhere if she does arrive.
Those were my thoughts as well, so thank you very much. We'll just move that one around. And we're going to open up public comment. I do not have any public comment paperwork on my dais in front of me, not really a desk. If anybody wishes to stand and speak on any concerns you may have that is not an agenda on our item, you can go ahead and step forward. You have 3 minutes. We cannot respond to you, as if it's not agendized, we cannot have a discussion. So if you would like to come up and speak. I see none. All right, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Is there anybody from the council that wishes to pull an item from the consent agenda? Is there anybody from the public that wishes to pull any items from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for action.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion from Vice Mayor Harris and a second from Councilmember Overton. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Moving right along. We are going to go to business. Item number 6, Mr. Folsom, consideration of appointment of the Chief of Police of the Clearlake Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just to give you some background, the former chief retired and Ralph Anderson Associates was hired to recruit a permanent chief of police. The recruiter met with myself, with the city council, with the city department heads, with Representative Canocti University, Canocti Unified School District, the Lake County Fire Department, to develop the ideal candidate profile. They also met with, we had a community forum where the recruiter solicited input from the public. The recruiter created this brochure that was then used to begin the confidential recruitment. The recruitment was confidential because most applicants have jobs and they don't necessarily want their employer to know they're out looking for a job, so you don't want to put people's names out there that they're interviewing, which could compromise their current situation. We received over 20 applications from throughout California and from several other states. The recruiter did an initial screening, and the top candidates were interviewed by a panel of community members, the CPOA, which is the Clearlake Police Officers Association, and chiefs of similar sized communities. The top 3 candidates were then interviewed by myself and the city council, and Andrew White was selected from that process. Andrew is currently a commander with the Suisun City Police Department. Suisun City, if you're not familiar with that, there are approximately 30,000 population. They're located in Solano County. They have very similar challenges to Clearlake with regard to demographics and high incidence of crime and other issues. They're located right next to Fairfield, if folks are not necessarily familiar with where Solano County is. He supervised patrol, investigations, code enforcement, and marine patrol. He is the chairperson of the Solano County Animal Control Authority and the Solano County Law Enforcement Commanders Association. He serves on the California Police Chiefs Association Technology Committee. He has a bachelor's degree in organizational management and IT, information technology. He's extremely adept at technology. I think that's one of the big attributes he's going to bring to us. He's attended the Post Sherman Block Supervisory Leadership Institute in addition to the normal Post certifications. He had a Post background investigation was completed, as well as a medical and psychological. His background investigation showed him to be of extremely high character and intelligence, and he is highly recommended by all contacted. He's purchased a house and plans to reside within the Clearlake city limits. Contract terms. It's a 3-year contract with options to extend, $130,000 per year salary. The previous retired chief was at $126,000. He'll be eligible for a 5% post-executive certificate incentive pay after 2 years. He'll have the use of a vehicle, benefits as defined in the management benefit plan, so that's like health and life and all the other types of normal benefits. There's a 6-month severance, a one-time relocation of $5,000, and the city will pay for professional development. So per the Clearlake Municipal Code, section 2-8.2, the city manager shall appoint, with the approval of the city council, a chief of police who shall be subject to the city manager's general administrative direction. The city manager recommends that the city council authorize the city manager to appoint Andrew White as the chief of police of the Clearlake Police Department and execute the employment contract attached to the staff report. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions or comments from the council? And I will open it up for the public to come up and give us their questions or comments. Seeing none, I will bring it back. I want to say something real quick. The process that we went through, I know there was a couple of people that expressed concerns on the cost of hiring a recruiting company to do this, but I feel that getting more than 20 applications and the quality of applicants that we received was well worth in order to ensure the future of our city with the Clearlake Police Department. So I'm really happy with the outcomes of this, and I hope the rest of the council is just as well. Any other comments or action?
Okay. Well,
We're looking for authorization.
I will move that we authorize the city manager to appoint Andrew White as chief of police of the Clearlake Police Department and execute an employment contract.
I'll second. I have a motion by Councilmember Kramer and a second by Vice Mayor Harris. Can we get a roll call on that, please?
Councilmember Overton.
Aye.
Councilmember Bennett.
Aye.
Councilmember Kramer.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Mayor Sabatier.
Aye. Thank you very much.
And just to follow up with that, we will be having a swearing-in ceremony at the next council meeting on July 26th. Yeah, the next regular council meeting date, which is July 26th, and that will be at 6 o'clock at the community center.
Okay. And it looks like Miss Lisa Kaplan came in, and so let's go ahead and go back to our presentation, if that works for everybody.
Good evening. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the city manager. I want to thank the mayor, the council, the staff for providing space for the Middletown Arts Center and the people of Lake County who participated in the Resilience Project to show their work here and to help beautify your space more. I think that one of the things that we can count on, oh, look at that. Oh, that's so nice that you did that. One of the things that we can count on as we continue to recover from the fires is that as we bring the arts into our public spaces and into our daily lives, we can bring more joy and beauty into our daily lives as well. The Middletown Arts Center is fortunate to have received a grant from the California Arts Council last year to run the Resilience Project, which was open to adults of all ages and teens, ages 12 and up, to come and participate in art classes in photography, in printmaking, in painting, and in creative writing over the course of a year for just $5. And these classes ran for 5 hours. and all you have to do is pay $5 and come and participate. And one of the products of our project is the Resilience Chapbook, which is a beautiful book that contains the work of 22 Lake County poets and writers and 17 artists and their prints. There's about 24 prints here. Some of the artists have repeats. And in the hallway you have work by the photographers. We had shows at Main Street Gallery, at the county courthouse. We have a show at the City Hall in Lakeport. We have paintings, prints. We have a show at Middletown Arts Center with work from the project, as well as work from professional artists. And it's all about trying to reframe the experience of the fire into a recovery process that is imbued with being able to see not only our personal resilience, but especially the resilience of nature, and capture that as an inspiration and energy for our own resilience. Most of you don't know me. My name is Lisa Kaplan. I lost my house in the Valley Fire, and I moved in on the 1st of July, which is awesome. And also, part of the reason why I'm late is because I didn't get my timing right about how long it would take me to get here. So anyway, I can say that going through 3 years of recovery and watching nature and watching the colors in the hills, watching the oranges and the browns and the greens and the yellows, and watching them change over time through the seasons has been a sublime experience that has been what has kept me able to cope with the challenges of recouping money from insurance, of dealing with contractors, and of the stress of being in a partnership. I have a partner, and trying to make it through this whole process. And just on a personal level, making it through this whole process, it's very, very difficult. And so putting some of that difficulty into expression on paper, in images, in writing, in music, in any of the arts, really allows a person to transform pain, to transform trauma, to tap into that, and to create beauty. And I thank you so much for allowing us to put work here. And I want to at the same time say that we got another grant this year for a project that we're calling Restore, that will culminate, it's very similar. It has sculpture, mixed media, writing, and printmaking, and it will culminate in the reopening of the Trailside Park, which I'm sure you all know we lost in the Middletown area, and also a new art trail on Rabbit Hill. So those are some of the things that we do at the Middletown Arts Center, and we're happy to do things here in Clearlake with you too. So thank you very much again for the opportunity. We'd like to continue putting art there if you'll have us. And we'd like to encourage as many of your citizens as possible to come and join us on Saturdays to partake in our workshops. And they're still only $5, which you just can't beat that price. They're from 1 to 5 p.m. most Saturdays. You have to check our website, www.middletownartcenter.org. Again, thank you so much, and to everybody's recovery, and to our safety, and the recovery of the natural resources that we have here. Thank you.
All right, that was nice. We're going to move on to item number 7, consideration of resolution number 2018-28, a resolution granting consent to operate a tourism improvement district within the city limits. Mr. Folsom.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So let me explain what a tourism improvement district is. First of all, a tourism improvement district, or TID, is a stable source of funding for marketing efforts designed to increase occupancy and room rates for lodging businesses. Funds raised through a small assessment on lodging stays are used to provide services desired by and directly benefiting the businesses in the district. Forming a TID requires a legal process that will show evidence of support from those paying the assessment. A jurisdiction oversees this process and approves it for the term outlined. So how a TID works: hotels pay an assessment, is collected by the local jurisdiction, the money is managed by the DMO, the Destination Marketing Organization. Characteristics of it: it has a level playing field, there's no free riders, there's transparency, there's reliability, and there's a pass-through to the guests. These are some examples of other TIDs and what they're charging. So like Butte County, their TOT normally is 10% plus a 2% TID, and you can see that Healdsburg has a 14% TOT with a 2% TID. Folsom has a 4% TID. Looks like Lodi has 4.5% is the highest on that chart there. They're proposing a 3% TID for this. So who manages the TID? The Lake County TID will be managed by a new nonprofit corporation called the Visit Lake County, California. This destination marketing organization will serve as the owners association for the TID. They will be charged with managing funds and implementing programs in accordance with the management district plan. They must provide annual reports to the Board of Supervisors of Lake County. They can also provide these reports and a presentation to each of the city jurisdictions if requested. An owners association is a private entity and may not be considered a public entity for any purpose. It is, however, subject to government regulations relating to transparency, specifically the Brown Act and the California Public Records Act. How does this affect the city of Clearlake? The county of Lake is the lead jurisdiction in the formation of the TID and will be requesting consent from each of the city jurisdictions to operate the TID within their jurisdiction on June 19th. Following that, Clearlake will, which happened. Following that, Clearlake will hear that request and grant consent at a city council date before the formation, which is today, July 12th. The county and cities, Lakeport and Clearlake, will be responsible for collecting the assessment on a monthly or quarterly basis from each lodging business located in their respective jurisdictions. So essentially, as we collect the TOT, we'll also be collecting the TID assessment, and then we will remit that TID assessment back to the TID. The TOT collection form will need to be updated to include a separate line so that the collection is streamlined along with TOT. The county and cities shall collect a fee equal to 2% of the amount of assessment collection to cover their costs of collection and administration. So that's it. Of that 3% that we collect on the assessment, we get 2% of that just for an admin cost. Staff recommends that council adopt resolution number 2018-28, a resolution granting consent to operate a tourism improvement district. And Michelle Scully is hiding over there with the county. She's kind of heading this up with regard to the Lake County. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? Councilmember Overton.
Is there an idea of, have we done research about what we feel is approximately going to be collected on yeah, come on up.
Looks like about 340,000, is that correct?
Yeah, I was looking, 340,000, is that the estimate that's going to be collected? Is that the estimate that's going to be turned over?
That's the estimate of 3% of the TOT collected last fiscal year.
And then this money is used to promote the local businesses, I'm assuming, in each area?
It's used to promote getting visitors to come here and stay overnight. That's the great part about it. And the nice part about that entity, the board, and it's kind of confusing when you hear board or nonprofit, it's essentially going to be comprised of hoteliers, lodging business owners. The city, the county can also come in as a partner and bring money to that process and sit at the table as well. So it will serve, like Mr. Folsom said, as a DMO, a destination marketing organization, where they take on the task of marketing our county to get visitors to come here, stay overnight, spend money.
So as per the past experience, and I've been here for a while, we tend to give money. And I know this isn't coming directly out of our pocket, but I'm assuming that if this goes well, we would want to contribute at some point in time. Clearlake doesn't get their fair share.
You know what, Council Member Overton, no one feels that they do. And when I was asked to take on marketing, we did kind of a baseline assessment to invite tourism stakeholders, people in the lodging business, the cities, and everybody feels that they'd like it to be different. And you know, Mr. Folsom was one of the first people I talked to about a tourism improvement district and having experience with that. It seems to be a great model. I agree with you. It creates a whole different format that's essentially manned and womaned by people who are actually in the business, and I think we'll do a really good job of it. And I completely hear you.
Okay. And I'm totally for this. I've seen this done in other areas, and it works extremely well to combine our efforts for advertising and promoting our whole Lake County as a whole. I've seen it done in other areas that I've lived at, and it's if this worked right, it's a great, great opportunity for us.
Well, I'm glad to know that you've seen it work, and I'm excited about it. Thank you for that.
Councilmember Kramer?
Yes, Michelle, the representatives following up on Councilwoman Overton's comments to assure that we all have equal representation. The members of this management organization will have representation from Lake Work, Clearlake, and unincorporated areas. How does that work?
Essentially what someone in the with a lodging business would do, it can be big or small, is say, hey, I'm interested in being on the board, and have just as good a chance of being appointed to that. The group will decide, and that's in the next phase, is how that process will work. But I hear your concern there, and I think what I have experienced historically is people having some sense that the jurisdictions and the county kind of all don't work together necessarily as much as we'd like to.
I've heard that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that. And my experience with this has been, I feel like it's a new day, a new dawn. And yeah, absolutely. And that's why rather than have just a TID that only operates in the unincorporated areas, that we've been working with both city managers to say, let's all do this together.
So basically, there will be a representation of businesses within each of the cities on this board as well as county members.
Yeah.
Okay.
From anywhere. It's a good question.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Thank you for bringing this to us. So if I could just ask you for a brief description as to the marketing tactics that are utilized once this goes into effect. What sort of target demographics and different avenues are used?
That's also, you guys are full of great questions. That's a great question, and one of the things that I've been doing since I was asked to oversee marketing for the county, and it's nothing that I anticipated doing. My background's in science, and so it's been kind of fun to use that basis to look at things, and one of them is data. You know, we're kind of remiss countywide in having data. So I also brought forward a contract to have a visitor data analysis survey conducted so that we can, which is in process right now, so that when the TID is ready to go, that they have actual data to say who are our visitors, where are our target markets, how do we, you know, we don't have the kind of money that Sonoma and Marin has, but how do we maximize that? So we're doing targeted ads to our demographic. We're trying to expand on a demographic that looks like it would fit with us rather than throw spaghetti on the wall.
Thank you so much for that.
Sure.
Councilmember Bennett?
Again, thank you for bringing this to us. Oh, the amount collected to cover costs of collection and administration, is there any other cost to this?
You know, it would be nice, also I believe you all have the management, the NDP, which the steering committee, which is a group of lodging business owners, got together and talked about how they want to, what percentages they want of that money collected to address. And so they tried to pick a percentage to cover management that's not excessive, but not, you know, unrealistic. Nobody can do this for $5, but they broke down what they thought would be management fees, marketing fees, and then when this is passed, hopefully August 7th, and then it needs to be incorporated, and then the board will be developed and seated, and then they will decide. They'll probably have people making them presentations, you know, to come and do marketing or such for them, and then at that time they decide which ones to go for.
Yeah, I read through the proposal. It's very, very good. I just learned it out there that there's not going to be anything coming up in the future that
Oh, back to you?
aware of.
Yeah.
Councilmember Holt?
Sorry.
No worries, that's what we're here for.
So how is the board going to be picked for this nonprofit? How's that going to start?
Essentially, what I would anticipate is that there's outreach, as there has been with notification to the lodging business owners, to say now we're at that next point, which is seating the board. and to request. It'll be really interesting. It'll be interesting to see if there's just this huge wave of people saying, hey, let me be on a board, or if we have to chase people around and say, please be on a board. I mean, you all know how that goes.
You'll like notify everybody that
Yes.
you know and
Yeah.
stuff. And then you had mentioned something about the city and the counties could be on the board if they, participated in funding or something?
Yeah, how that works, and that's a great question, is we, the county, you, the city of Lakeport, also a casino that has a lodging facility can come to the LCTID board and say, we'd like to be partners in this, and with our partnership comes, we'd like to bring money towards this effort. And then that would be added in addition to that assessment, which would be great. And then you get a place at the table.
I kind of thought that's what it was, but I wanted to make sure. So.
Yeah.
And let me just add on that. So the way it is now, the casinos that have hotels do not collect TOT.
Right.
But they would self-assess themselves as well and by contract join into the TID.
So they would add the 3% on, even though they're not collecting TOT.
Right.
And then they actually collect that themselves and then send that in? Or that's not going to go to the county then, right?
No, if, as the county, as the city, if a casino with a lodging facility came, then the board would determine what the terms of their contract is, and they would make payment however the board saw best fit. But it's great. And the other nice thing about this that isn't really reflected in the numbers is that it creates a unified board. It's really an advocacy group for the lodging industry, and what we found in this whole process is they tend not to really be in communication with each other, so it's been really challenging and exciting to get everybody talking about it, and they have lots of opinions. They're in the business and they know a lot, so I think that is going to serve us well in the future, that we actually have a group that we can go to.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Well, thank you and your city manager for his support and being on the forefront of this thought. I think it's transformational.
So I know that currently we give, I believe it's $10,000 to Lake County for marketing. Will any of that be used for this TID, or is it solely the 3% coming from the lodging?
Now, I'm just a small cheese at the county, but my thought is, Mayor, that contract could just be voided, and then the city could go to the TID itself and say we would.
Because I'm thinking if they're here, they're going to be spending money, so
Right.
getting them into the lodging is step one. The rest, they're
Right.
already going to go around to the wineries, to the restaurants, all the other good stuff we have to offer. So I would think that that's a good potential. Okay, I had to ask. I had some of the same concerns. I'm glad that those concerns.
About representation.
Just want to make sure that we don't have 5 people from the same block represented on the board for a county board, and so I wanted to make sure, and I think that we've all shared the concern already, and I think that your responses have been adequate enough to make us feel a little bit better about that.
May I add to that?
Oh, absolutely.
I would heartily recommend that when this does pass, fingers crossed, that you reach out to your city lodging business owners and say, hey, we support this, and join in and participate. You can do that much better than I can, so I would heartily recommend that. If you can do that, you would.
And I sure hope that somebody sitting in the audience would be a participant in that board, not pointing fingers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Like she doesn't have enough to do, right? So.
Oh, okay. Way to go. Good job. I've been trying to put this squeeze on her.
They go get her here. So it's like,
And
That's on the record now, right?
yes.
And the other thing, but I have a feeling that's coming in the near future, is what's the set goal? Like, what's the expectation of enhancing the number of visitors? Because I'm sure there's a baseline right now that you'll find out what that is, and what's the expectation on bringing that up to a specific number, and is that the only measurement of what we're looking for to see how successful this TID is? Because I know for most things, when we start creating new ideas or policies, we need to have a measurement to make sure how is it going to be successful in the future. Is that something that's going to get set up as the board comes together and plans on what to do, or is that already set up?
No, it is not set up yet, but that, I mean, I'm like, numbers, baseline, let's decide, where we are, where we're going. I would anticipate that that would be like an initial baseline marker that the group would focus on, which is exciting. Do you have any other experience or comments towards that?
Just that, it's going to give us a lot of really good information that I don't think we currently have with regard to countywide number of tourists and visitors that are coming. I mean, everyone has their individual information that is not necessarily being shared, and there's not that, kind of countywide database to have knowledge of, are we improving overall, or are we not, or what's happening. I think we all have a impression that when sometimes there just aren't enough rooms, but sometimes there's plenty of rooms. But what is it? Do we need more hotels? In trying to attract more hotels, that's kind of basic information they need is, what's going on in that county. So I think maybe that could help to do that.
Love it. Any other questions?
We'll keep asking now. This will be last. So do you talk to the hotels and found out, like, at any point in time when you've been doing any of this, marketing stuff throughout the years, to find out what their occupancy is, like on a regular, like a yearly basis or a monthly basis, or?
Towards what Mr. Folsom just said, it would be really nice to say, this is where you find those data. And currently, that's not really the case. So to me, that would be like a preeminent goal of this entity, is to corral that data, and then that's the only way you determine where you are and where you're going from there.
So even the county has not, like, even talked to the hotels to see if they keep track. Well, I mean, I know they keep track of their occupancies. I don't know about the smaller resorts, but I do know that the bigger hotels do, because it's just in their system. So, I mean, I think it would be getting the smaller people, because they're more mom and pop, on board to really keeping track of what their occupancy is, so that we can really have some accurate information on that.
Absolutely, and if you look, what that does for you in the business is it allows you to go out and maybe court an event to come, and then you have your data right there to say, how many rooms would we need, where we have kind of a centralized tally of that, so you don't have to kind of scurry around and do math on a yellow piece of paper. But you would have that, and then you could slowly work your way towards bigger and better things. Thank you.
Any other questions? I don't know if I've opened it up to the public, but just in case, let's do it again. If anyone from the public wishes to make a comment, please come on up, or a question.
Take her out the door with you.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Wilson, and I'm a resident here in the city of Clearlake, and I'm also the general manager of Clearlake Campground. And I've been working with Michelle Scully and Mr. Folsom on the steering committee to gather the petitions and the petition stage to get it to where it is today. And I'm in support. As a business, we signed the petition, and I helped gather the petitions. And I'm looking forward to this going forward. Like Michelle said, it's transformational, and I think it's just going to open doors that have been closed so far. So thank you for your support.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for further conversation or action.
There's no further comment. Take the motion. I'd like to make the motion to accept resolution number 2018-28, read it by title only, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Clearlake, State of California, granting consent to the County of Lake to establish the Lake County Tourist Improvement District.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Overton and a second by Councilmember Kramer. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Overton.
Aye.
Councilmember Bennett.
Aye.
Councilmember Kramer.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Mayor Sabatier.
Aye. Thank you very much. That's exciting. Thank you, Ms. Scully. Mr. Folsom, your report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So one of the exciting things that happened this last week is we did review the Austin Park 30% plans. We got a good idea of where they're at. We made some adjustments. One of the comments that was made by the designers because of our decision to keep the existing sidewalks within the park is that we saved several $100,000. So that was very worthwhile that we did that. We did a walkthrough. I also attended the VIP night at Tractor Supply. They're there's a soft opening now, so the grand opening for that is July 21st, so we'll be doing a ribbon cutting out there, so it's going to be real exciting. I participated as a judge for the Lions Red Bud Parade. That was fun. Attended a meeting just the other day at with Adventist Health as part of their community board, talking about how we work with basically the homeless and some other issues that Adventist Health wants to deal with. We, myself and the mayor, met with Dino Beltran of the Khoi tribe this week, and my July city manager report will hopefully be out tomorrow. We have a few things coming up, so hopefully you have an open schedule. Tomorrow, there's a chamber mixer. Hopefully we'll see everybody out there. July 18th, we have a marketing committee meeting. We also are going to have a special council meeting at 4 o'clock. We have the Tractor Supply ribbon cutting that I mentioned. July 26th is a regular council meeting, but that's going to be, as I mentioned earlier, at the community center for the chief swearing in. August 1st is the State of the City. Let me repeat that. August 1st is the State of the City. I hope everybody's going to come out for that. It's going to be a lot of fun, like it always is. August 9th, again, we'll have a regular council meeting. August 10th, Big Five will be opening. It's the information I have right now. And then August 18th is the Bow Wow Luau. So hopefully everyone's coming out for that as well. This is my report.
Yes,
Yeah. All right, thank you very much. Councilmember Kramer.
pass for the moment, if I may.
Okay. Councilmember
I
Overton.
don't have a lot to report. I've been very busy, but I haven't really done any meetings. So unfortunately, I've been trying to schedule my vacation around all these meetings and it just didn't happen. So unfortunately, I will not be here for the swearing in of our chief. But our organization in Chatterbox from the Senior Center will be doing some catering there for the chief, our new chief. And I will not be back until the end of the month, so I will be back for the State of the City, though, which we will also cater that. So really, that's all. I've just been busy. I've been shorthanded with the fires, so I really haven't been able to make it to any meetings. So sorry, guys. That's it.
Councilmember Bennett.
I don't have anything.
We're on a roll. Councilmember Kramer. We're back to you.
You're coming back to me?
Yes.
I have very little. I also attended the Tractor Supply opening and spent a little bit of money in there, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going back there from time to time. Also went to the Adventist Health Community Board meeting, I think it was actually called. Had some good conversations there with regard to health, to housing, to homeless situations. I think going forward it'll be some pretty good some collaborations that come out of these series of meetings. So I think it was worth it. And that's all I got.
Thank you very much for your report, Vice Mayor Harris.
I was gone for a week and a half on a vacation, and I did come back just in time to show up late for the Animal Control Ad Hoc meeting, which a lot of further discussion on. It's kind of an ongoing project, obviously. And then I will be headed back out, and I will not be here for the July 18th special meeting, but I will be returning for the July 26th meeting, just for the meeting. So I'm driving back for that meeting so we can be here.
All right, thank you very much. I just have to, I'm going to ask a quick question, Councilmember Overton. September 5th? September 5th. Would you like to please explain what September 8th is all about?
Okay, September 8th is our annual fundraiser for the Highlands Senior Center. It's our largest fundraiser that we do to promote our Meals on Wheels program and provide our seniors of our community with meals, some in their homebound, that are homebound, and some in our congregate halls. Unfortunately, this year we have grown since the fires have kind of settled down. We've almost doubled on all our stuff, but unfortunately our grants were cut $35,000. So just let everybody know, we're starting off, we were already about $20,000 down from normal fundraising because of the fires, so we're kind of starting off our year off at $55,000 in the hole. So it's really important that we really want everybody to come out to that event. Our senator and our assemblywoman both will be speakers there. We may have a change in MCs, I'm not sure, so I'll wait to say that one. The tickets are $35 and they can purchase them at the senior center, so thank you.
So please come and support our senior center. It's an important part of our community. We do have an older population here in the city of Clearlake, and so we have a large population that needs our help. So please, September 8th, Senior Center, $35 for tickets. Go down there and check out, have lunch, and buy a ticket, please. So real quick for me, on the 4th, I seem to have followed you everywhere you went. It seems we had the same outline.
Enough couple weeks.
Yeah.
I had to train Mr. Folsom how to be a judge for the 4th of July. It was very difficult. We had a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody that took part in that. Thank you to the Lakeshore Lions Club for putting that together every single year. It was a fabulous event. On the 9th of July, we had the Animal Ad Hoc Committee. We're looking at creating new policies that unfortunately have not been in existence yet. So we're looking at creating an adoption policy. We've already discussed a euthanasia policy. Just a lot of subtle changes and large changes coming up, some of which we've already discussed and approved here by changing the fees. So I think the committee's heading in the right direction, and I look forward to the next meeting. On the 10th, we did meet with the coordination. We discussed some of the projects that are coming up. They seemed, or at least Dino Beltran, seemed excited about the projects that are coming up and seemed happy with the relationship with the city, which is always good. At Adventist Health, it was a kind of a rebooting of the Healthy Clearlake Collaborative, changing the name potentially, but the same mission, which is to help move and see if we can get Clearlake to rise up above some of the issues and problems that we have. And of course, we spoke about homelessness, we spoke about our health, we spoke about housing, and so we'll be coming back and hopefully we'll pinpoint a specific solution to one of our problems and be able to start seeing some change. I do want to say that one of the highlights that I can't help but not forget is the fact that in 2017, Adventist Health Clearlake put $5.4 million into our community. That's amazing, and we definitely should be thankful for having them in our community and pitching back in to help us as a whole, that they've had a change of philosophy that health starts within the community. Once they get to the hospital, that means they've got bad health. So they are trying to help us out where health begins. I did want to mention for the 18th of July, I'm excited about the special meeting just for the fact that we are going to be looking to potentially approve some road projects, and all of these road projects are major changes that are going to be happening to our city. So please come by, or at least listen up to see what projects are coming up, because we have some exciting things happening. I'm excited that we have Tractor Supply and also Big 5 opening up soon. There's a lot of things happening here in this city. So thank you to everybody that's working hard on making that happen. And that is my report. Any future agenda items that we would like to have and discuss? Seeing none, then I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out tonight. Really appreciate you being here in our meetings. Have a good night. Oh, and we will be going into closed session as we will be discussing employee performance evaluation.